You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to giving you the inside scoop on what's happening on the lakes and waterways of our region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Your host, V&M Baits General Manager Kevin Jean and Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Two guys with years of tournament experience with Pro-Am circuits like ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers willing to share their knowledge and to give you inside information to make you a better angler. So get ready to take some notes and learn exactly how anglers are catching the big stringers right here on Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Hello, everybody. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. And I'm sitting here on the shores of Sibley Lake, Louisiana, right here in Natchitoches. And Kevin's down there in Lafayette, Louisiana, on the south end of the state. It's May 16th of 2023, and we're glad you're with us today. I'm Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. Kevin, today we're going to wrap up last week's Brandon Belt on Sam Rayburn. We'll take care of that, kind of let everybody know what happened. They caught him pretty good. But if you're wanting some good information on Toledo Bend, all you Sealy guys and gals, get ready, because we've got the man who's going to give you some great fishing tips today. He's one of Toledo Bend legends, a Toledo Bend guide, and a champion angler in his own right. Mr. Glen Freeman is going to join us and give us a few pointers for anyone looking to fish this weekend Sealy Big Bass Splash on Toledo Bend, Kev.
Yeah, I'm excited, Steve. You know, we've been doing this for several years now, Tackle Talk Live, and this is the first time we finally have got Glen nailed down to come on and do the show with us. We've had a lot of guests on numerous times, being we just covered Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn, but it's the first time we've had Glen on Tackle Talk ever, and so finally, glad to finally get him nailed down and get him on the show. I know he's on the water today. He's been on the water a lot lately. So nobody else better to break it down for us to Glen. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about, they've got the floodgates open. They have 5 gates open 1 foot, which is going to make a big difference. And I think it's going to really make them fish bite this weekend. How long they'll keep them floodgates open, I don't know. 5 gates open at 1 foot, it's coming down. So it'd be interesting to hear Glen's take on that and what effect it'll have all the way up north where he usually fishes. But get a full breakdown from Glen on Toledo Bend, and I know you've got the results from last year. We'll talk a little bit about last year's tournament and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and we got lake level reports. And again, I was on Toledo Bend this morning, and as I went across it last week, I noticed it was up, and I was really surprised. I mean, it's up flush with the bottom of the cypress trees, those lower limbs. It's you got to work to get a bait up underneath a lot of those limbs right now, but I'm sure with the gates open, as you've alluded to, it'll come down pretty quick. So, but anyway, we're going to take a real quick break, recognize a few of our sponsors. When we return, we will have Toledo Bend guide Glen Freeman. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garment and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santones, Pro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49, or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
This is Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for tuning us in. This segment presented by Toledo Health, the Boat Shop, and 3J's four-way home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. And if you're looking for a new boat, you might check out one of the hottest boats on the market today, the Camus boat. Again, Raymond Kidd and Kevin, his staff over there, have a great selection of Camus, Vexus, just a wide variety of boats. Whether you're a crappie angler or you're a bass fisherman, the Boat Shop in Shreveport is a great place to go and purchase a boat. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got the man who is in my eyes, and I'm sure many others, Kevin, a legendary angler from Toledo Bend, Glen Freeman, a man who needs no introduction to this region. Glenn, man, appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And we're just looking for a little insight with Sealy going on this weekend. How's the lake fishing as we speak right now?
Very scattered. Water, we're about a half a foot over pool, about 172.5. And we have water in the bushes. We have water way back in the pockets. We have water in the hay grass. Right now, the bite is shallow and deep, but mainly shallow.
Yeah, Mr. Glenn. So we was at Champs a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. You know, I was over there and expected a really good deep bite, and you know, the fish, most of the bites I got that week were shallow. And the last several weeks, that's what I've heard is the shallow bite has been much more effective than the deep bite.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's some spots that you have some deep fish. Our biggest fish we caught this week was in around 22 foot of water, but we didn't catch many. In that particular spot, we only caught one good one, and that's it. And as soon as we move shallow, we start catching fish, and some pretty nice ones too. The good ones for the Sealy tournament. So we just got a lot of water up on the bank right now, and in the grass too. So that's what's going to play a big role in the Sealy tournament coming up.
Now, Glenn, let me ask you about this. So, as of yesterday, they opened 5 floodgates for 1 foot.
Right.
That was Monday. And by this weekend, and we all know that triggers the fish on Toledo Bend, especially those deeper fish. So, what's your take by the end of the week? How would that affect? And I don't know exactly, none of us really know how long they're going to keep these floodgates open. But what's your take on how that will affect the tournament?
There's a good rule of thumb on Toledo Bend, and you should do the opposite of what you think you should do. Everybody's going to think, well, the water's going to come down eventually and the fish are going to move out, but not necessarily. Those fish will stay shallow as long as they got a little water over their back and there's food there. See, I'm seeing more bait fish shallow than deep, as long as the fish will stay shallow. So it's kind of open game this weekend. You know, you're going to have a lot of people catch them shallow, and there'll be some catch them deep. The further south you go, the better deep bite, for sure. We still got a lot of stained water up here.
Glenn, right now, moving baits. I know I was over there today. I actually had to kind of slow down a little bit today. Ended up with a worm in my hand and caught several fish, and about 14, 15 fish for about 6 hours. But the moving bait bite for me just was really, really slow. Now, top water bite, of course, was good early the first hour, but after about 7:30, it really slowed down for me. Now, is that the norm?
Yeah, it kind of is, but you have to look at your electronics because, like today, most of the fish that I did see offshore were definitely suspended, and that's going to put you back on your moving baits like crankbaits and even spinner baits out in the deep water. But, that could change from day to day depending on what they do with the water level, and who knows on that right now. I'm thinking they're just going to come down about a half, maybe a little more. It shouldn't change again.
Right. If Glenn, have you had some guide trips lately? Have y'all been catching a lot of numbers?
We were catching numbers. That slowed down a little bit when the fish moved back shallow. But let me back up. See, last week we were catching them shallow, and we were catching numbers, and we were catching some good ones. This week it seems like the numbers have slowed down, and I've been spending a lot of time in deep water. So back to the shallow water maybe tomorrow, and I think the numbers of bites going to pick up. I think you're going to see a lot of fish. People are going to just going down the bank line right now. That's going to be an important deal for this tournament.
Glenn, best way to catch a money fish, anywhere that 3.5 to 4 pounder. What would be your best method, best way? Chatterbait, spinnerbait, crankbait. What are you thinking?
Right now I'm seeing a better spinnerbait bite than anything else. Not much on the still could happen. A frog could even happen. If you find the right particular place, the right grass and the right bait and everything. But I'm going to tell you what, a big 3/4 ounce spinnerbait is really good right now for a bigger fish. That's what I would say.
Glenn, first thing in the morning, is there? I know there has been. I've heard chatter about there's still a good shad spawn going on. Is that still going on pretty well? Or first thing in the morning?
I'm not seeing much anymore. I mean, of course they'll move, as the water moves and everything. But I'm not seeing it like it was. No, I mean just first of last week. I mean they were just boiling up everywhere, and I'm not seeing that right now where I am anyway. Could be other places, but not up here on the north end.
Yeah. How important, Glenn, is being around grass right now? Is that extremely important, or with the water being up, I guess it's kind of scattered, like you said, spread the fish out a little bit, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, if you've got grass, that's always good. I mean, because all your bait fish are around your grass, especially early and late. I mean, it's always a factor with the grass and everything. But as you move out if you're going to fish deep, it doesn't matter. So,
right.
It's just whatever you prefer. But yeah, the grass is important.
Water clarity up there and I know you're north of Pendleton Bridge mostly.
Right.
Now that we've got the waters came up, what's water clarity like up there on the northern end?
I was actually, I went to the Converse, Bison area today. Bison looked really good. Further you got in Converse, more stained. I actually went up just a little above Huxley Bay. It looked terrible. And all that water, as long as they got these gates open and the generators going, is actually filtering down. So it's moving down toward Converse, Bisons, and that probably will be as far as it'll affect anything. And in the back of the creeks now, this is going to be muddy. So that's going to change the bite back there. And it's fresh mud. That's never good. Needs to be there a little while.
Glenn, right now, humps and ridges out there in that deeper water, a big worm. I mean, we talking J-Mag. What are we talking here? Would that be a good choice to throw? I guess, especially if you're trying to catch a good money fish, that would be a good possibility to maybe catch a check.
Absolutely. You want to stay with your bigger worms, your bigger crankbaits, and with a bigger worm, you're probably not going to get as many bites as you would on a small worm, but the fish are definitely going to be better. And you can catch a big one on a small worm too, but each day is different, and you got to find out if they want that big worm or do they want that smaller worm. You still stand a chance of catching a giant on a small worm, but I'd probably be out there with a bigger worm all day.
What about boat dock pattern right now? Is there a boat dock pattern going on? Are the spawns over? Have the fish migrated to the docks? Are they set up on them yet?
There's some fish on the docks and everything. It's not my favorite pattern. I do it if I have to. It's just kind of tough going from dock to dock all day because a lot of people are doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's in an area, the right pocket, then yeah, it could be a dangerous bite on the boat docks.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are
Glenn,
probably going to catch them on the docks.
yeah.
Yeah.
It took a 10-pounder to win this event last year. In your opinion, two questions here. What does it take a 10-pounder to win this year? And what will a 4-pounder get you a check every day?
Hard to say. I really believe there'll be a 10-pounder. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of them. I know there'll be some 9-pounders caught. And a 4-pounder, I think at first is probably going to, I don't know if it's going to do much good or not. I'm not sure how many places that he's paying right now. But if he's paying 14 or 15 places, yeah, a 4-pounder will get a check. I mean, I'd be going in with a 4-pounder for sure. You just don't know till you get there, though.
I think there's a couple of hours out of the 7 hours that he does extend it to 15 fish and then 15 places, and then the rest of them I think are 12. And and looking at last year's average, Glenn, on Friday it took a 4-pounder to get a check, but then every day that average went down, and you ended up about 3.5 to 3 3/4 last year by Sunday. So, and I don't think that'll be different this year.
No, it'll be the same. I mean, you're going to see, people on the last day especially bring in some money on the 3-pounders, 3.5, stuff like that. They're going to get bombarded Friday and Saturday for sure. A bit.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's going to be a difficult bite for a lot of people, but man, if you got a 4-pounder, 4.5, I'd be gone.
Yeah. I agree. Kevin, you got anything else?
I think that gives us everything anybody would want to know for the weekend. So I think that would be it.
Hey, Glenn, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on with us. Boy. And how can somebody get in touch with you, Glenn, if they want to make a trip with you?
Phone number is 318-347-5496, and they can call me on that number or text me either way, and I'll be glad to fix them up.
All right. And Glenn, don't you do some electronics training as well? You'll take guys out and show them how to use their electronics?
Absolutely. That's the best part of it, learning how to use those electronics, especially what we got to look at now.
Yes, that is true. Well, Glenn, we appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, buddy.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Glen Freeman, and one of the better anglers, Kevin, that I know around the Toledo Bend area. He's any tournament I've ever been in, Glen's in it. He's one of the guys to beat pretty much year in and year out. Great information there. He gave some good ideas to, and again, the lake's fishing pretty big right now. I mean, there's fish a lot of places right now.
It is, and the main thing where I wanted to go with him is this shallow bite, because I was talking with some buddies yesterday. Again, going back to the Elite Series when they were here, you had some sight fishing going on during the Elite Series, and everybody was catching them in 20 foot. There was that no in between,
Right.
And it's like these fish, and they did this 4 or 5 years ago. The fish turned around and went back to the bank. And I'm telling you, the shallow water bite the last 3 to 4 weeks has been way better than the deep bite on Toledo Bend. There is a deep bite, and there will be some good bags. There will be some good fish caught out deep, especially with these floodgates open. But the shallow water bite has by far been the best bite on Toledo Bend the last 3 or 4 weeks. And you heard it from Glenn. If Glenn is saying he's catching them shallow, the bite is shallow. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, we want to make sure people understand that. Glen Freeman is a North End guy, and I remember talking to Glenn several weeks ago. I asked Glenn after the spawn, I said, well, those fish on that North End, will they pull back out? He said, Steve, as long as there's water, as the water's up and fairly close to pool, then fish will stay up for 2 or 3 months. And he said they will not retreat back to the creeks or the main river channel until they absolutely have to. As long as they got bait, he said they're going to stay right there. They won't leave.
What was the water temperature when you were there today?
72.
That right there. I mean, they don't have to go out there.
No.
72. I mean, it was in the 60s in the end of April, 63, 64. It's just now hitting 72. The fish don't have to go out there. Now, there's some out there, don't get me wrong. And if I was fishing, I would probably be fishing deep, just because I know that's how you can catch a big one. But I would almost bet there is going to be 70% of the fish weighed in this Sealy event will be coming from upshot.
Yeah. And one thing you and I alluded to earlier when I was coming back in from Toledo, you mentioned the points. The points is going to be a good place to start this weekend. If you're fishing over there, that may not be a bad place to start. Going to be crowded. Going to be a lot of people going to hit the points, but it could be a good opportunity to maybe, especially early, to catch one and get a good keeper, a money fish early. It could be come off the points. And but anyway, all right. When we return, we're going to recap last week's Brandon Belt on Rayburn. They really caught them over, had a good tournament, and we'll preview the Sealy on Toledo Bend. We'll kind of give you some more updates, water level, what's it doing? As Kevin's already alluded to, they've opened the gates, but we've got lake level reports for Rayburn and Toledo. All this when we return. You're watching Tactical Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas, 2 locations, one in Nacogdoches and in Broadus. Also, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. Great line.
Answer that phone.
We don't need that right now. So, sorry about that. Guess I need to turn that off. But anyway, check them out. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle and Pride Rods make a great rod. Check them out. They got great supply. Keith probably carries actually the Pride Rod series right there at Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. Brandon Belt final results, Kev. Do you have those, or do you want me to call?
I've got them sitting here. So this is a 2-day event. First place, Jason Bonds, Derek Mundy, 45.93. Big shocker there. Second place, Stephen Johnston, Tim Renault, had 42.60. And then, Steve, we take a hard drop. Third place, Marshall Hughes, Cole Stewart at 36.43. Fourth place, Hunter Freeman, Hayden Heck had 35.63. I want to say they weighed in maybe 25 on day one. Fifth place, Harrison and Lee had 33.68. I'm trying to see. It doesn't show me what got a check, Steve.
You were right about Freeman and Heck. They weighed 28.87 on day one.
Yeah, so that's tough. I mean, weighed 28.
And then 676 on day two. Wow.
Yeah,
obviously things something must have happened there, Kevin. Conditions must have changed. I don't know.
That's some deep fish on Rayburn. You know, you can hit a home run day one, and I mean, Rayburn's notorious for that, a 30-pound bag, and then have 8 to 10 pounds on day two. But you know, Bonds and Mundy, they're two guys we know. You know, two of the best ones on Sam Rayburn, and now that they've teamed up together. You know, this time of year, especially, both them in the same boat, they're tough to beat. You know, and Steven Johnson, it's the first time we've seen him back in the mix here in a while, especially over there on Sam Rayburn. Had 42.60, him and Tim Renault. So it's good to see him back in the mix.
Yeah, they had 348 on day one and 19. And and the only team that had two 20-pound bags was Bonds and Mundy. I mean, they're the only two that had two bags over 20 pounds.
Staying consistent on Sam Rayburn is I mean, in these multiple day tournaments, just to be able to stay consistent this time of year, you'll be in position to win a lot of tournaments, no doubt.
Yep, that is true. And so again, I'm not sure what kind of turnout they had on this. I couldn't find any overall numbers as far as this circuit's concerned. And I think you have already said that team of the year right now, leading team of the year, who is it?
Castledine and Cecil. Russell Cecil, Ty Castledine. Yeah.
And I think they have one or two tournaments left. I think there's one left in this show
Toledo
series.
Bend in June.
Yeah. Yes. So that'll that should wrap that up. And then they have a championship, don't they?
Yes, they do. Championship, Toledo Bend, July 7th through the 8th. And then championships in the fall. I don't know if they've announced that yet.
Yeah, September, October, probably. Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like they had a pretty good tournament. It's one of those deals. There was a select group of guys really on them, and then everybody else was just trying to catch a few fish. So
a little tough this past weekend. Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Just getting that time of year, you know, it's getting a little tough. As the fish make their way out deep, you know, you can really get a big bag on one day, but then they're moving around a lot out there right now. So especially on Sam Rayburn, Toledo, as we alluded to earlier, still a lot of a shallow bite going on. So you know, again, I'm waiting this weekend for Toledo Bend. It's going to be interesting with the you know, the floodgates open. I think it really could get that bite going on the south end of the lake. The north end not going to really be affected by it that much, but the south end especially, I think, is going to really, you know, the bite window is going to be larger than it you know, maybe was. Be a lot of fish caught on topwater this weekend: frogs, swim jigs, chatterbaits, so on and so forth. But you know, the good thing about it is when you put that many boats on the lake, people are going to be able to spread out from all the way to the dam, all the way up north, catching them shallow, catching them deep. You know, everybody's not going to be doing the same thing, or everybody's not going to be up shallow like in the spring or out deep in the summer. Everybody's going to be able to kind of spread out and do their own thing. So hopefully the lake won't be too crowded this weekend.
Right. And again, I was over there this morning. As you alluded to, the top water bite, it was good till about 7:30 for me. I was throwing a yellow magic. I was throwing a smaller one. I caught a couple of threes, one pushing about 3.5, and a solid weigh fish for a tournament, for a 5-fish tournament, but probably didn't catch a fish that would have probably cashed a check, maybe a Sunday check, maybe if I was, you know, weights were down a little bit, I might have got a Sunday check, but the bite was good till 7:30. Then it was like a light switch. It just shut off. And I did stay shallow. A trick one. I did throw a bigger worm, and the one that I would get bit on, as Glenn alluded to, you kind of have to figure out what day do they want the big worm today, or they want the little worm. Well, today, for me, they wanted the little worm, and I caught, like I said, I probably had 14 pounds, maybe 15 with 5. Just a solid bag. Nothing to write home about, but it would have been a solid bag of weigh fish. But they were the ones that bit the top water. I'm telling you, they were choking They were choking that Yellow Magic. They were, I mean, it was in their throat, and they were coming completely out of the water. It was the best topwater bite I've had in a long time. They were really fun to catch this morning. But anyway, last year, Kevin, I went back and did a little research. I looked at last year's numbers for Sealy. As you've already said, it took a 1041 to win last year. Not sure if it'll take the 10 pounder this year. I think there will be a 10 come in.
Yeah.
It took 862 or better to make the top 5 last year. Probably going to be about the same. I look for Toledo to shine this weekend. I look for the guys to catch some good quality fish. Weather's supposed to be good.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. The weather's supposed to be good. The wind's not going to really blow, so people are going to be able to spread out. And you had 2 over 9 pounds last year.
Right.
I'm going to say you're going to have more than that. I think it's going to take a high 8 to be the 5th place this year. A 10 pounder wins it, and 3 9s.
Yeah. And last year, the average fish weighed in, which to me was a really good sign for Toledo Bend. And this is how we evaluate a lot of the lakes. I know Rayburn was showed out pretty good with Sealy a couple of weeks ago. 4.25 is what it took last year. That was the average fish weighed in. That's strong to me.
Yeah.
That was 707 fish weighed in last year. It took it was the average 4.25 pounds apiece. Smallest fish hourly last year was a 309. Actually, a guy from Natchitoches, Randy Gant.
Randy Gant. Yeah.
Randy Gant had a 309, and he finished 15th in 1 hour. That was the lowest weight it took to get a check. Basically took an average of 402 to get a check on Friday, 372 on Saturday, and Sunday. So weights, of course, they got a lot more pressure on them by that 3rd day. You know, people are tired, the fish are tired. If you catch that 3.5 pounder, I'd probably go weigh him in on Sunday.
Oh yeah, well, catch 3.5 pounder, I'm probably gonna weigh it in anyway.
Yeah, that's probably.
But it's the Toledo Bend right now. It's 172.5. So again, how long are they gonna keep these floodgates open? What's this water going to do? As Glenn alluded to, that dirty water is going to keep funneling down. Converse area usually, as he said, is usually as far as it makes it when they have floodgates open. So South End, Lake Pendleton South should be fine. Even Lannan and San Miguel and all that should be fine. So shouldn't affect any of that.
Kevin, the gates being open like you described, is that a hard pull? I mean, is that enough to pull grass loose and ball it up and on that south end?
I don't think it's not going to make I mean, that's a good 5 gates at a foot. That's a good amount of water coming through there. It's not going to be enough to
I think so
any
too.
grass, which God, I hope not. And I don't know how long they're going to do this. I don't know. I don't know how long. Again, I mean, it's not like it's that high, but they got a lot of water still coming down. We don't have any more rain in the forecast, and even up by Dallas Lake Fork, I don't think they do either. So I don't think this is going to go on for very long.
Yeah, I think now we're into our summer season now. It was 92 degrees out there today when I came in. I think where summertime is here, and I think the fronts that we're used to getting week after week, those are probably fixing to slow down, and the rain's going to probably slow down as well. So the lake should start to fall. But anyway, and speaking of lake levels, Rayburn right now is at 165.65. It's up a foot, 1.25 up a foot and a quarter, and it gained 1.16 feet in 10 days and came up in 24 hours, 1.44. Kevin, what you showing for Toledo?
Toledo Bend is at 172.47 feet, a difference of 5.64 inches, and then the 10-day gain is 10.44 inches.
Yeah. And as you opening the gates already, it's got a 0.36 loss, 0.36 inches.
Hour loss, yeah.
Yeah. So, and Ken, what else is coming? I mean, I've got 2 listed here for May with the Sealy this weekend, and then we got the LBA Solo 150 the last week of, which is Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend on Toledo. Anything else going on that I'm not aware of?
I don't know about Rayburn. I'll have to check the Outlaw Outdoors page here and check what's going on at Rayburn. We got the Brandon Belt in June on Toledo Bend. A few other things going on. Let me check the Rayburn calendar here.
I know we got an ABA tournament on Sam Rayburn the first week of June, I believe, or second week of June, second weekend of June. And I know we're back over there at Rayburn for the ABA Open Series, Southeast Texas Division. And and that'll wrap it up for us, except for the 2-day division, which is in late September. It'll be on Toledo Bend, matter of fact, if I remember right.
Yeah, and they have the Skeeter, the Outlaw Team Series Championship June 3rd over there on Sam Rayburn. ABA tournament is June 10th. The Real United tournament at Humphrey Pavilion is June 10th. The Outlaw Outdoors Average Joe tournament is June 11th. And June 17th is the Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day tournament. So
okay, all right.
It's starting to fall. June kind of starts to fall off. One tournament this year, Steve, that is not, that's usually in June, July, or is the Texas Shootout, the $50,000 first place. They're having it at Lake Fork this year. Be the first year let me see when that one is, but that'll be the first year
that's not the Sealy Fall Shootout, is it?
No. The Bass Champs Summer Shootout. It's first place.
Okay.
And they've always had it at Sam Rayburn. Every year I fished it a lot. They always have it at Sam Rayburn. Look here and see when it is, but it's on Lake Fork this year. There it is. Shootout Sunday, June 25th, Lake Fork.
Okay. All right. And I want to remind everybody, this Friday, those of you looking to fish the final leg of the Solo 150 Tour, it's the last one, it's the event number 3. It's on Toledo Bend, May 27th, 28th. This coming Friday, May 19th at 5 o'clock in the evening, 5 p.m. is the deadline to get into that event. So call ABA to register. Entry fee is $600. It's a 2-day deal. And so if you're looking to get in that, Friday is the deadline, May 19th at 5 o'clock. So, Kevin, anything else?
I think that does it for us, Steve.
All right, man. Well, hey, we appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning us in. Check us out on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else you can listen to podcasts. You'll find us somewhere. If you would like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page, and Kevin will make sure he sends you a detailed packet describing what all's involved to become a member of our sponsorship team. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next. That was a good show.